Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. So before I start this class, let us congratulate everybody who is along with me in this journey of learning astrology. I am trying to teach astrology from past 3 months. Now it is exactly 100 days. So it is just like, I thought of giving back to the society whatever I have learned. I have been striving to do that. I am trying to do my honest job in trying to teach astrology. Let's see if God provides health and strength. I'll keep going in the same speed and spirit. So today we are talking a very important subject once again, analysis of accidents. So when will a native go through or suddenly encounter accidents? Accidents happen sudden without information. That is why it is called an accident. It is not a premeditated event. It happens without the thought. Some of the accidents might be forced. Some of the accidents might not be forced. It might be because of some other person. It might not be because of your own action at all. I am not talking about calamities. I am not talking about any air crash. I am not talking about any mass death. So that these things are still there in my list of analysis which I will be teaching. But I am talking about simple events like a person leaves his home to his office on a two-wheeler or his four-wheeler and encounters a minor accident or even falls down, breaks his bones, or some fracture happens, he has a face damage, he has a teeth damage, he has eye damage, he has some stitches in his face, or something happens to his body where medical attention is required. He will have to admit himself, come back, take rest for a long number of days. Sometimes people get recovered in a week, 2 weeks, or sometimes it might take months together. So let us understand what are the planets which actually are of concern to understand the analysis of accidents. Let us do this step by step. First, if you need to see where frictions happen, whether a friction is going to happen. A friction is the one which actually causes heat or also accidents in this case, in the case of astrology. Slow moving planet and a fast moving planet, an aggressive planet like Mars and also Sun. If they are slow moving planets like Saturn and aggressive planets and fast moving planets like Mars and Sun. So these two are fast moving planets. Mars and Sun are very fast moving planets and slow moving planet is Saturn. So if these planets are in mutual aspect or placed together conjunct, and if they are with the 6th lord or in the 6th house, then accidents are a tendency in a chart. Let me give you an example here. So I have taken Kumbha Lagna, that is Aquarius. So now here let me put both these planets along with the ascendant lord itself, Saturn, in the 12th house. See, it looks very simple, very common. Many people have these combinations. But you should understand that if there is a mutual aspect, head-on aspect, direct aspect between Saturn, Mars and Sun, 6-12 axis is being, totally now stressed. This is the 6th house, this is the 6th house, this is the 5th one, and this is the 12th house. So the 12th house represents hospitalization, and these two planets represent the blood, the muscles, the bones, because bones are represented by Sun, the blood and the muscles are represented by Mars, and when accident happens, a metal is represented by Saturn, that is the iron or the steel or whatever. So not the the pure noble metals. These are metals like the dark metals. So when an accident happens, This is the combination which we have to see. This can happen. You can have a combination here, you can have a combination here or here. So that means here what is happening, Mars is aspecting Saturn. Okay? Here Mars is aspecting Saturn. So these two combinations along with this conjunction are all three having more tendency towards fractures, muscle tear, tendon tear, or a little more intensity depending on the strength of the planet, because Mars here is Nicha. So if somebody has a question now, if Mars is not Nicha, sir, then if Mars is here and he is aspecting the 6th house, let us say the same combination, let me now put this combination. Whether the tendency of the fracture or accident will reduce? No, it will not reduce. It is as good as when Mars was there. There Mars was Nicha, here Mars is exalted, but still this particular combination causes friction and this particular combination causes accidents. Now to know what way an accident might happen, he might be a pedestrian simply walking on the road. There might be some two-wheeler which comes and rams into him, or something else happens. He is sitting in a bus, suddenly a bus brake fails or hits into a truck, or suddenly he applies brake. It happens. Normally people, when suddenly brake is applied and they are asleep in the bus, they go and hit the front bar which is there to hold on, the front grip, and it is made of stainless steel. It gets hit. In India, most of the buses nowadays are removing that bar. You don't have that bar anywhere, and you have a small handle bar which is made of fiber, but still the front seat is very nearby and it is not fully of cushion, and you get some rupture because of sudden braking. So this also might be that. So now we need to see whether it is because of a vehicle or you are driving the vehicle. This is what is important. Vahana Sthana is the 4th house, and Vahana Adhipati is Venus. He is for vehicles. This is for automobiles, which includes auto rickshaws, 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, trucks, everything else, but not the bigger ones. I am not, not for the trucks. Trucks and all other heavy moving vehicles will come under Jupiter. This is HMV, what we call as heavy motor vehicles, and all light luggage goods vehicles, and light luggage vehicles. So these LGV, what we call, comes under Mars, and all cars and other vehicles for transport, even bikes for regular transport, that is for going for office and coming back, comes under Venus. So we can call it 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers, or cars, simply cars. Let us make it cars. So if whether there is going to be an suture, an operation, or something like a joint which is going to happen is very clearly defined by Ketu, which clearly tells a rupture. Very clearly rupture. So rupture or severance. Severance in very rare cases, that when a part of a body, a limb of a body might get amputated or it gets cut off itself in the accident. It is a very severe thing and it's very dangerous, traumatic to see. So Saturn represents the legs, and Saturn also represents slow moving planets, and that's why it represents aging and old, that is prolonged recovery. It doesn't represent immediate recovery. So it is like if you go through a fracture, and if it is Saturn which is involved in it, then it is like that you will take 6 months to recover. It is not immediate.
Sometimes it remains for lifetime also.
Yeah. The discomfort, sometimes the fractures can become a disability also. It's not that disability is to be seen from Saturn. Very clear. I'll be making another video on disability only. that is particularly, deha nyunyata, that is in the body there is something, which lacking. So we'll do that later on, where it is, whether it is permanent disability or, temporary disability. This, sometimes in fractures it is temporary disability, sometimes it is permanent too, that a person might lose his hand, his fingers. We don't, God bless, nothing should happen to anybody, let everybody be safe. So once again, I'll just take an example of another example. So the fourth lord is here to tell us that it is a vehicle, and the best the fourth lord, the better the vehicle. The weaker the fourth lord, the normal the vehicle, like a two-wheeler, which is a moderate two-wheeler. A fantastic fourth lord, which is very much hyped or which is exalted, then he will have a, same two-wheeler of a make of a, bigger brand, huge brand, somewhere which runs in lakhs together. Once again, the more the power, the more the responsibility. So that means if the Lagnadipati is not strong, it becomes a forced accident. That is, a person driving rash. The children, teenagers doing all sorts of wheelies and all those things and ending up, in hospitals with broken bones, sandbags. So, by spinal cords, discositas, so many things. So let us take another example. I am taking Libra ascendant, just taking some ascendant. We can do it with many ascendant. It's a very common yoga, but this explanation of these traits of these planets are more important. So here I am trying to put one planet extra so that you will understand what actually I am trying to do here. So I have put Mars in its own house, which has given rise to Ruchaka Yoga. That means the person is aggressive, very fast. So along with this planet, I am going to put here the Nicha Saturn, which again is not a good combination, and this is a bad combination. An exalted moon in the 8th house, being the 10th lord, might give problems. In the accident, the person might lose teeth or he might lose his sight. Why? Sight and teeth both are represented by moon, and the 8th house also represents Deha Kashta Yoga to a certain level. The 6th, 8th and 12th, all three represent physical discomfort if they are badly placed with benefics. If they are placed with malefics, it is quite better, but if they are placed with benefics, it is really bad. So we need to analyze the chart wholesome with full chart. Just we are giving you some points here. There might be many yogas which might actually cancel the whole thing altogether. So Mars is one of the most important players in repeated accidents. Also, there is one more player who is very important, that is Rahu. Rahu is the one who gives, insane courage. A person should not have overconfidence while he is driving his vehicle. The anger, the racing the vehicles, trying to show off, all these things have ended up many people in hospitals and also in their graves. They are all resting in peace now, maybe in one piece, because this is an accident, yoga of accidents. So people should not drive vehicles with anger or overconfidence, or even without licenses, before age. All these things can be seen from the chart. Depending on the planetary placements, we can see that the person would unnecessarily go and damage himself or other property or other people's lives also.
Sir,
Yeah.
also please define the timing of events, when it will trigger. It is not
Yeah,
throughout
the timing of the event is very important, because it doesn't mean that from the day of the chart is, the native is born, that the accidents keep on happening. It's not like that. The timing of the event should be seen from three factors. I'll write the factors here. There are 3 factors.
Be cautious.
Yeah, because depending on the timing of the events, for first factor is the dasha bhukti, dasha and antar dasha period. Let us write only dasha period. In that the MAP has to be considered, that the mahadasha, antar dasha and the pratyantar dasha. So dasha period. Dasha period in English is planetary period. For the while I have taught only Vimshottari Dasha, so that one sequence can be used. Mahadasha, Antardasha and Pratyantar Dasha. These 3 can be seen, and the Pratyantar Dasha Lord is very important. He is the one who triggers the event. The Mahadasha Lord and the Antardasha Lord, if are in the same line, then the event will surely get triggered. If they are having some opposition, then the event gets triggered, but it will not have that much of effect. That has to be done after analysis only. That I will be doing in the later classes. Second most important point is the planetary placements, which shows the promise. There is a promise that there is going to be an accident. After that only we are coming here. This should not be seen when there is no promise of accident at all. That means the chart is fine. There is no accidents in there. But why are we unnecessarily we should not keep searching for accidents. Will I go through accidents? Will I go through accidents? No, OCD people will keep doing that. Obsessive compulsive disordered people will keep searching. When will I go through a bad time? When will I go through a bad time? I don't know. This has become a fun time for them, that they keep searching. Do I have any bad yogas in my chart? The whole of online searching, Google search has gone negative. People will be saying, will I die early? Will I go through divorce? Why only talking about negatives? Let us talk positives. If there is no indication, I will not call it even promise, because promise is a positive word. If there is no indication of accident in the chart, please do not unnecessarily go through the dasha bhukti and all the transit and all those things. So next point we have to see is transit. The third most important point which we have to see is, if there is an indication here, and if the dasha period also is correlating, and if the transit over, I will be teaching this transit in coming few days, but for the while let this word be only transit. So transit is applied, transit is the real time planetary movement, that is the celestial movement as on date. As on date, we call this as the Graha Gochara. As on date, we have Ketu, I think, is here, Rahu is here. All this is written in black ink. You can see a retrograde Jupiter here, Saturn which is retrograde here. I think I am right. I don't know. I think yes. So this is the major Gochara which is happening now. So planetary Gochara is also important. That is, the planetary transit is also important. When there is a system in which we have to see this event has to be triggered, we have to see the yoga between the triggering planets. This is a system which was earlier discussed in Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra in a very little way, in a very small chapter they have discussed this, but it has been enhanced by Nilakanta Jyotishi in his treatise on Tajaka, and we call it Tajik Nilakanta, because Nilakanta Jyotishi, and this word Tajik is coined because it was from the area of Tajikistan, and Tajikistan was earlier called as Tejasthan. And what was Tejasthan? Tejas means fast as light, or the horses of Arabia. They were the fastest horses. So the Tejas in Sanskrit means fast as light, or earlier days this was the name given for the horses of Arabia, very fast horses. So why this name was given to this particular study of the Tajik Nilakanta is Nilakanta Jyotishi has designed a fantastic system where you can pinpoint the particular period within a year of the horoscope, that is the Varshapala technique, and he has given a fantastic technique where the orbs of the planets, that is the influence of orbs of each planet when they merge and in a particular angle will cause either good event or a bad event or a neutral event. So all these three has been defined, they have been defined, and I will be going through Tajika in a very later stage after I finish the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra. So please understand once again that the planets which are involved in the chart, if they are placed in the Dusthanas, in the 6th, 8th or the 12th. So the planets which I had been telling, like Mars, Saturn and Rahu, and also Venus is weak, the Lagnadipati is weak, then in that particular Dasha period of, let us say, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, or Mars, Rahu, Saturn, or Rahu, Saturn, Mars, or even Mercury, if it is weak, then the person can go through an accident. If it is Mercury, then the person might get, he might get some skin inflammation, burnt skin, or he might get some neurological damage because of head injury. So we need to see everything in detail. We have to go through each chart in detail, and I will be doing all these analysis day by day. And once again, let us congratulate ourselves that today is the 100th video of Astro Guide Mysore. Thank you very much for today's class.